Hey beautiful people, welcome back to our channel and thank you so much for joining the channel today. So today's video I want to talk about why you have to be legal abroad. There are a lot of things internationals do not understand and I'm here today to talk about this. But first, please, have you shared our video? Please share the video so that a neighbor, a sister or a friend somewhere can get the information. All right, now let's take a look at some visa categories that you need if you really want to immigrate abroad. I want to talk about this because it is paramount and very important for everybody to understand the concept. Now, if you really want to move abroad, like I said, it is paramount for you to be legal abroad, and I'm going to explain why. If you want to be legal abroad, there are two types of visas I would encourage you to take. One, the study visa. Two, the work visa. These visas are visas that permit you to stay more than 90 days abroad. On the other hand, the short stay visa is a visa that permits you to stay for just maximum 90 days. So when you are staying abroad for more than 90 days, there is a tendency that you are going to get what is called a residence permit. It's going to either be a student permit, a student residence permit, or a working permit. Now, with this permit, you are legal and you can also work part-time or full-time as a student. And of course, as a worker, you are going to be working full-time. This also permits you to be legal in that particular country. And the advantages of being a legal person, a legal foreigner or a legal immigrant in a foreign country is: one, you have access to move freely. Maybe you see law enforcement officers, you are not going to be running around. Two, you can also apply for other visas to move to other countries. For example, if you are legal in Germany, you can always apply for other visas to go to Canada, US, Australia, or anywhere around the world. But if you are not legal, you can't apply for any visa. And in some countries, if the law enforcement officials get you, you are in serious problem. So it is always important for you to be legal when you move abroad. Now, and for you to be legal, you have to use these particular visas. Well, there are scenarios where you can use a short stay visa like a Schengen visa or a visit visa. Then when you arrive your destination, you convert it to a residence permit. But your chances of converting is very slim. And I cannot say I know of a country which is very easy to convert. Now, I know where you are driving to. You may want to say, Milton, what about people who seek Odoro? What I mean here is asylum. Aren't they legal? Asylum seekers are also legal people because they have already filed for asylum. For those who don't understand the meaning of asylum, I am going to explain more on YouTube. So please check my YouTube channel, follow, like, and do not forget to share this video. It's very important. Please make sure you are legal when you move abroad. It's going to save you a lot of energy and from a lot of problems. If you need a one-on-one appointment with me, please book from this page or my video description box on YouTube. Please make sure you try and get to around 480 and above. Otherwise, you are wasting your time as it is right now. A lot of people are competing for this. So if you must get selected, you have to find ways to be selected, and the only way is to get your points up there. The points are going to come from your age, level of education, IELTS score, work experience in Canada, info. Someone asked me last time, I don't even remember when this individual asked about this question, but he said, what are the first steps I need to take if I want to relocate with my family abroad? So guys, in this video I'm going to be explaining to you some things that will help you immigrate abroad if you really want to move with your family. The very first thing, if you want to move abroad, let's keep family aside now. You first of all need to ask yourself two questions. Do I actually have the money, not need, have the money I need for this journey? Because study abroad or moving abroad is one thing, and again, the finance is another thing. Do I actually have the money to immigrate? That's the first thing. Secondly, where do I want to go? And is the money okay to carry me for this journey? And another tip I want to give you now is, if I want to move, which method am I supposed to use? Am I going through the study pathway, or I'm going through the work pathway? And after that, what do I need in order to kickstart the process? Like I always say, the easiest way to immigrate abroad is the study pathway. When it comes to jobs abroad, I do not know anything. All I know is you first of all need to apply for a job. Then the employer or their company or your employer will then send you a contract for you to read it, sign it, then you send it back to the employer for them to sign. Sometimes they will sign before sending to you. But is this process an easy process? It is not an easy process. So you have to be careful. I'm saying this because I know a lot of people who lost millions in the case because they are struggling to get work visas and stuff like that. If you are watching this video, note that it will be easy for you if you try to immigrate with the study pathway. Of course, you need a student visa to immigrate, but this is the easiest as I can advise you. Now, when you have decided that I want to move with a student visa, remember the question says I want to travel abroad with my family. You now to start identifying countries that can accept dependents or can accept a family. And which are some of the countries? Austria can accept it, Finland can accept it, Denmark can accept it, Canada can accept it, Australia can accept it, to a greater extent Portugal and Sweden. These are the countries that can accept families. Now, you now look at universities in these particular countries and start the application. When you go to the universities, these are the things you should look at. The tuition fee, how much you need to pay after admissions is given to you, the visa requirements, the application deadlines, then the programs available. When you find a program, you launch the application immediately. Then when you apply, you wait. Remember, I always insist that apply to many programs so that in case one is not accepting you, the other one will accept you. It is very important to note this so you don't waste one extra year because you didn't get admissions. I hope you understand. Now, when you gain admissions, you will now start using that money. Pay your tuition, you apply for visa. Remember, some countries have specific requirements. Legalization is also involved. So you have to note this. I have explained this on YouTube a lot, and I believe everybody here know where my YouTube channel is. Channel Milton Fonkwa, and watch detailed videos on here because I can guarantee you my YouTube channel is like a gold mine. If you pay attention then, watch videos, not just one, because when I produce video, I produce them in series. So make sure you watch and take the material, do your own research and start the application. I hope you enjoyed this. So this is basically what you need if you really want to move abroad with your family. Do not forget, proof of funds is very important. And was asking if permanent residence visa to Canada is still applicable. And I'm here to explain this to you. Visa is still applicable, but for you to go into this, you need to know what it's involved, all right? Because it's not just everybody who is qualified to apply for permanent visa. First of all, why are you applying for permanent resident visa? Because you are qualified. Do you actually have the requirements? There are two things. If you first of all need to even start this process, there are two things you need to do. One, you need to write IELTS. That's the first thing. I want to just do a general video like this, then I will explain and elaborate more on how to get permanent residency to Canada using express entry. This is it. This is what we need to learn from here. Now, you need first of all IELTS, and the IELTS you need is IELTS General. You cannot use academics for this. You can only use general, and for academics you can use it for studies. Now, what is required from the IELTS? You need to write IELTS and make sure for the reading, speaking, listening, and writing. Did I mention that? These are the 4 modules. Make sure you score at least 7 across and have a total band score of 7. This should be the least. Of course, you can have maybe 6.5, 6.5, but remember, the higher your band score for IELTS, the higher your grades or your points. Remember, express entry is more of points. They will always select you based on points. I will still talk about that in another video. First thing first, get their requirements, which is IELTS and WES evaluation. Now, what is WES evaluation? WES evaluation is you send your transcript to WES, okay? You pay for it. WES will give you a code. You use the code and the mailing address. You go to your school, tell your school to send your transcript to WES, to the address given to you. Now, you may want to ask, Milton, why can't I send my transcript myself? Remember, I'm talking about your bachelor's degree transcript, not HND. HND people are not qualified for express entry. I'm saying so because someone booked an appointment with me yesterday and was like, oh, the agents, and when I came to realize that this person is an HND holder, you are not qualified for express entry if you are an HND holder. This is something a lot of people will keep eating our monies, your money, because they cannot eat mine. I already know the information. That's why I'm educating people. Please, you need to evaluate your bachelor's degree. The minimum you need is a bachelor's degree. And I already told you the minimum you need for IELTS. You can have more. Like I said, the higher your points, the more advantage you become. So the minimum you need is your bachelor's degree, and with this bachelor's degree, you follow the procedures given to you by WES. For those who don't know how to go about WES evaluation, go to Google and type WES. Then they are going to ask you to create an account. Then when you create the account, they are going to ask you what you want to use the WES to do. You are the one to indicate it is for immigration purpose. If you see IRCC Canada, choose it. Immigration purpose, choose it. Okay? Now, when you finish the whole procedure, you do the payment, they will direct you, you carry the details to your school. Make sure it is your school to send your transcript. Please, to be on the safe side, make sure it is sent by your school. This is my advice for you. Then when your school sends this transcript, it's going to take some time. WES will contact your school to verify. Then your school will confirm to WES. Then WES will now do the evaluation. They want to be sure that your result you got from your home country is equivalent to the same result in Canada. Is your bachelor's in your home country equivalent to a bachelor's in Canada? This is what WES want to know. Then when it's settled, they will evaluate it. Send first of all a copy to you PDF online to download it. Then they will equally send a physical copy to your address. When you are filling the form online, they will ask for your address. So make sure you put an address which is accessible. Then after that, you are done. You now have your WES and your height. You now go to IRCC, create an account and enter the pool. They call it a pool. The pool is a group of candidates all over the world. All right, everybody has a profile. You create and you join. They will ask you questions. You remember, before you even go to that pool, you need to know your job type. You need to know the knock code. There is something called knock code. Please, to know all of this, go to IRCC and read. I will talk more about it in later video. Now, when you are on IRCC, you will fill all the information, then you enter the pool. If you take a look at the past scores, the people who have been selected, you will realize that the points are really up there for the general selection. Except I'm not talking about those who have French proficiencies or agricultural experience, but the general let me say general express entry, those who have been selected in the past, their points are like 500 plus. Now the question is, would you have these 500 points? Again, you have to go back to the CRS calculator on IRCC. Please do not forget all this information. It's so important. And like I said, this process you can do it yourself if you read. There are a lot of things. Remember, it involves your age, your education, your work experience, your marital status, your IELTS exam or any other exam, and of course it depends on also on your academics in Canada and your work experience in Canada, or if you have a relative in Canada. So put all of this into consideration. If you think that your points are not good, you need to do something to increase your points in order to be selected. Express entry, pathway to permanent residence to Canada. For you to be invited to apply for permanent residency, you need to have the required points or the benchmark. Please make sure you try and get to around 480 and above. Otherwise, you are wasting your time as it is right now. A lot of people are competing for this. So if you must get selected, you have to find ways to be selected. And the only way is to get your points up there. The points are going to come from your age, level of education, height score, work experience in Canada, level of education in Canada, and if you have a family member in Canada. So put all of this into consideration. I'm still going to talk more about this. Remember, the higher your age, the lesser your points